Welcome back, everyone, to Wealth Wednesday. My name is Bryant Stone. I'm the Chief Investment Officer of Polimeni Tax and Financial Group. The first couple weeks of Wealth Wednesday, we had kicked off with what is an emergency fund, some do's and don'ts as far as an emergency fund goes. And now we're going to transition into this week's topic, which is taking advantage of your employer match. And why that's important, guys, is for a number of reasons. The first thing, let's identify the types of employer-sponsored retirement plans that are out there. The most common type that you'll see will be a 401k. Most people that work in a corporate type of job in the private sector, they're going to have a 401k. If you're a government employee, you're going to have what's called a thrift savings plan, also known as the TSP. And typically, if you're a state worker, also in the public sector, you're going to have a 403B or a 457. Those are your most common types of employer-sponsored plans. So first, we want to make sure that we identify what the types are. The second thing is, if you do have an employer-sponsored plan, you want to know what your maximum allowable contribution is. And why that's important is because if you have an employer-sponsored plan, and let's say that you go over what your maximum allowable contribution is for the year, and let's say you do that in October, then in months November and December, you're not going to get matched from your employer because you've went over what your maximum allowable contribution is. So you want to make sure that you're cognizant of that, and you're working with either your retirement team at your job and or a financial advisor, so you know what those limits are, so you can know how much to put into that plan each and every pay period, whether it's biweekly or on a monthly basis. Now, as far as the limits on that, each plan or each type of plan differs as far as the maximum allowable amount. But let's just talk about a 401k, which is probably the most common that people are going to know as far as an employer-sponsored plan. So this year, 2021, the maximum allowable amount, if you're under the age of 50, is $19,500. Over the age of 50, you can put in what's called a catch-up, which is an additional $6,500. So in that scenario, if you're over age of 50, you can put in a total of $26,000 into an employer-sponsored 401k type of plan, okay? Number 4, let's just kind of break down how to take advantage of the match. So let's just say, for an example, that your company is matching you 5% of the money that you put in, okay? And let's say that you're only putting in 2%, okay? If you're only putting in 2%, your employer's only putting in 2%, so you're missing out on an additional 3%. Now, if you increase that contribution to 5%, your employer will put in 5%. So now you're getting a total of 10% of your income that's going into your retirement-sponsored 401k plan, 403B, whatever it may be. There's a lot of different types that are out there. So I want to make sure that's important, because when you talk about building wealth, one thing that you don't want to do is not take advantage of free money, because there's nothing as good as free money. So we want to make sure that we know what those limits are and know what you need to put in so you can take advantage of that. Another thing that you want to be cognizant of, and just kind of know for general purposes, is if your plan has a Roth option, okay? Most people know the traditional option, which is you're putting in tax-deferred dollars, meaning that you're not paying tax on it. But a lot of these employer-sponsored plans, especially nowadays, have Roth options where you can put in after-tax dollars, which can be a huge difference in retirement, because then if you have a Roth option in retirement, you'll have a tax-free bucket of money, which will be awesome for you, especially with the rising tax environment that we're currently in as an economy. And lastly, guys, one thing that's going to be really important for you to know and to understand is your investment options inside your 401k, 403B, 457. There's typically quite a few different options that are inside there. Once again, I can't tell you how many times I talk to clients and they have no clue what their investment options are, what's available to them. So if you don't know the investment options, take the time to talk to your retirement team to learn the options. If you have a financial advisor, preferably consult with them so you can understand what the investment options are for you, and you can find out what's best for you. I appreciate you guys coming on this week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.